Welcome back to the show. It's your girl Sarah right here on Relax Radio. And I'm super excited to be here because we're having an important and interesting conversation with regard to why exactly is working from home on the rise. All right. Now, if you have any thoughts, if you have any opinions on this, please do get in touch with me and share it with me because I would absolutely love to hear what you have to say with regard to, working from home and your thoughts on it as well. All right. So don't actually forget to do that because, here at Relax Radio, it's all about important conversation. It's about, sharing your thoughts and your opinions with everyone who's listening in. And it will be absolutely amazing because that's a point of having a conversation, right? You want to make sure that you share your thoughts and opinions with everyone who is listening in as well. So don't actually forget to do that. Now, you can actually do that by, texting us or calling us on 078 share your thoughts, share your opinions with me because I would love to hear what you have to say. All right, so don't forget to do that. Now, before we head into the conversation, I want to very quickly remind you that you can in fact be a part of the show. All you need to do is go follow us on our socials, right? That's the best way for you to connect with us as well. You can like us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, and actually make sure that you're always informed and updated about the very latest that happens all over the world. And don't forget to download the app either because that is available for download on both the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. That way you can actually make sure that you're listening from anywhere in the world at any time of the day from any device as well. Okay, so don't actually forget to do that. And now let's very quickly head into a conversation because we have a lot left to talk about. All right. So to head back into our conversation, now we're going to be talking about why exactly is working from home on the rise. All right. And what exactly do you think that is? Now, I personally think that it is because, during the pandemic, there was a lot of shifts in our lifestyle, in our lifestyles rather, and we had to, switch from working at office to actually working from home. And what that essentially meant is that we actually had to, we actually had to start this whole thing all over again, right? And we basically had to readjust our lives, and that is what I meant when I said we had to restart this whole thing. And initially it was uncomfortable because we found it hard to sort of distinguish or draw that line between working from home and working in office, the distinction between our personal lives and our work lives, right? And initially, those were some of the problems that we encountered. However, with time, we actually saw that people were much more productive. People were actually doing much better at when they were working from home in comparison to how productive they were when they were at office. All right, so that's important to hear and keep in mind as well, because that way you will understand the rest of this conversation. All right, so to get back into our conversation, now John Lewis has actually or rather there has been a lot of adverts in terms of working from home. Right now, before the pandemic, there was only like 1% of advertisements that advertised remote working. However, after the pandemic, or currently, since we're still going through the pandemic, at this point of time, this has actually risen to 5%. So there's 5% of ads on the internet when you're looking for jobs that advertise remote working, right? And many office workers have actually shifted to flexible working during the coronavirus lockdown. And this is because it's much easier to work from your home, right? And the reason obviously is because when you're going to work, you're constantly wasting time to travel between home, or when you're traveling from your home to your office, you're wasting time to go to work and come back home, right? And then even when we're taking breaks, lunch breaks, or we're just hanging out with our colleagues, we tend to waste more time again, right? And so if you actually take how much of time we spend not working as a whole, there is in fact a lot of time that is wasted when we're socializing with our colleagues, when we're trying to come to work and get to work from home and whatnot, right? So in instances like that, it makes most sense for people to work from home. Now, currently, what we're seeing is this hybrid system from working from home, because we're seeing, so many people actually working from home and also going to office. So, they're basically switching between the two options that they are given. All right. And something else is that even officers that have to pay a lot of money, they have a lot of costs in terms of, the space they're renting, in terms of electricity and all of the other things. They can actually cut down on costs as well when people are are working from home. Now, make sure you stay tuned because if you want to find out more, I will tell you more, but you obviously have to make sure that you stay tuned because I will tell you more right after this break.
And it gives them something to look at, and it makes them laugh. It makes them laugh. So that's why I do it.
Oh, and it could be a really good pickup line as well. Ladies who ask, "Hey, excuse me, so why are you wearing something so colorful?" I mean, hey, you can you can always have something up on your sleeve. I mean, got me thinking. You want to stand out. Why do you want to stand out though so much, especially with these kind of shirts when you're riding? There must be a purpose behind it, right?
Well, when you say a purpose, Nick, what I do, I wear the shirts, mainly one because they're nice and bright, so they make me visible, especially if I'm riding on the road.
Okay. Yeah, that's very important, right? Because you want cars, yeah.
Very important. And also, like, people see me in like calves, and perhaps I shouldn't be saying this on air, I suppose, but in the bar afterwards.
All right.
And it gives them something to look at, and it makes them laugh. It makes them laugh. So that's why I do it.
Oh, and it could be a really good pickup line as well. Ladies who ask, "Hey, excuse me, so why are you wearing something so colorful?" I mean, hey, you can always have something up on your sleeve. I mean, you look like a guy who would do.
You know me too well. You know me too well, Nick.
Welcome back to the show. It's your girl Sarah right here on Relax Radio, and I'm super, super excited to be here because obviously, we're having a very important and even interesting conversation with regard to working from home and why exactly working from home is on the rise and why these kind of jobs are actually more looked for in terms of when people are applying for jobs nowadays. All right, so that is what we're talking about, and I'm super, super excited to be here to share this conversation with you on a beautiful Thursday morning. So don't forget to, be a part of the show and let me know what your thoughts and opinions on this are. All right. So you can actually text me on 078 share your thoughts, share your opinions with me because that will be absolutely amazing. And I would love to hear what you have to say with regard to what we are talking now as well. And, if you want to, if you want to be updated on the very latest that happens, not just here in the United Kingdom, but in fact all of the entire world as well, don't actually forget to be a part of the show. You can actually go look. You can actually go follow us on our socials, and you know uh like us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. All right, so don't forget to do that. And something else that you need to keep in mind is that our app too is available for download right now. So if you want to share your thoughts, or if you want to be a part of the show and listen into the conversation from wherever you are, then the best way for you to do that actually is by being a part of the show. All right, so don't forget to actually get in touch with me when after you download the app, and text me and call me, so I can hear your thoughts and opinions on this as well. Now, let's actually head into the conversation, because obviously we still have a little bit more left to talk about the pandemic and why exactly working from home has risen during the pandemic. Right now, something that I have noticed, or something that a lot of people have noticed, is this push for home working is actually coming from a lot of younger workers. All right. And I feel like I understand the reason, because our lives are quite stressful as it is, right? In the middle of, trying to pay off all of these debts and whatnot, we've also had to go through a pandemic. And the thing is, the pandemic is, in fact, a very stressful incident, right? I mean, come on, it wasn't just younger people who were stressed out because of the pandemic. It was, in fact, all different types of people from different age groups that were in fact stressed out because of the pandemic. All right. So because these people were stressed out, and they wanted, or rather, a lot of us got comfortable with the way home working worked, right? We could work from home, we could complete our tasks while we were at home. And when working from home wasn't an option before the pandemic, it's now actually a huge option, right? And more often than not, companies, when they're recruiting people, tend to say that, oh, look, you know what, you can work from home. And that is, in fact, a reason, or that is, in fact, an incentive as to why people would actually apply for these jobs, right? Now, something that we've seen in these past few days is there has actually been a number, or rather an increase in the number of applications, and increase in the number of people who are applying for these jobs that you can work remotely, right? And jobs that are advertised as either dynamic or hybrid, that is where people work from home and whatnot, there is, in fact, a much bigger rise, and people are like absolutely excited about working from home. All right, now, since the whole pandemic, the percentage of jobs advertising hybrid working has actually dropped from 9.2% in January to 5.6% in July, right? And that just I feel like that just goes to show how, this just indicates that employers are not actually, they're not fully embracing flexible working as a permanent feature, maybe for the time being, but I don't think they want to embrace it during the future, in the future, right? And that's kind of annoying, I guess I'd put it that way, because obviously, everyone wants to work from home, right? And that's just the truth of it, because it's much easier as well. But I guess, we'll have to switch our lives around with, everything slowly going back to normal. But that is why, working from home is on the rise, right? Because a lot of other employees, in as opposed to the employers, actually want to work from home. Now, during the pandemic, we were actually sort of forced into home working, right? So we sort of had to largely accept the fact that we had to work from home, and we didn't really have too much of a choice about it. And after everyone was working from home, almost like literally everyone got a bit of a taste of it, and everyone enjoyed that, because let's be quite honest, it's much easier for you to just wake up in the morning, dress up, and do your work, rather than waking up in the morning, cooking, doing everything that you have to do, then getting dressed, then going to work, then wasting time on your commute and whatnot, right? So something that we've actually seen is that people are actually twice as likely to apply for a job if it's advertised as remote, right? And the push for home working is largely coming from younger people. Like I said, they want to work from home because because of the situation, and also because they're getting much more comfortable with the idea, right? However, you know how we have these water cooler moments in office. Yeah, those could actually benefit people's careers, right? And what's important to understand is that this sort of reflects the same ideas that Rishi Sunak had as well, where he said, working from home for the time being is okay, but the fact that we are not going to meet our colleagues, the fact that we're not going to meet our co-workers is might actually have an impact in terms of our future. So that's important to keep in mind as well. All right. And the pros and cons of working from home and returning to office has actually been quite a hot topic here in the United Kingdom, and it's been trending as well. So that's why we are having this conversation. Now, however, we're going to head into a small break, and after that, we will be back to keep talking more about this. So until then, make sure that you stay tuned.
The valuations that you place on an asset are always behind you. It's always in hindsight. It's never in front of you. And that's one of the challenges, right? Because you're always valuing what happened yesterday. And what you need is what's going to happen tomorrow. What am I saving or investing for? Why am I doing it? When will I need the money? And how much money do I need? Yeah. So that's quite important, because when you're looking at your net worth, you got to start with saying, well, what do I want my net worth to be, so that there's a goal, and then work backwards. How do I get there? And if I can start with £50 or $50 a week, if I save that every week, and you can go online and use calculators online. I don't have to teach you the maths behind it, but you can say, okay, and if I get a 3% return and I put this away for how long will it take to reach my goal? And that's called just this basic cash flow projection calculations. And it's what we use in financial planning all the time. What we say to clients is we say, okay, what is your goal? What is your objective? Where do you want to go to? And we discuss that in a lot of detail and over most of the meeting. And then the rest of it is saying, okay, in your exact circumstances, with your risk profile, with how you feel about investments and pensions and taxes and where you are and who you work with, and your education level or your lack of education or how involved you want to be. There's a lot of variables that we take into account, and then we say, okay, here's a plan. You start like this, that's great. And then we review it all the time. And we say, okay, we need to increase it, we're on track, we're not, this is what is happening. Because remember, when you're dealing with assets, the valuations that you place on an asset are always behind you. It's always in hindsight. It's never in front of you.